In this lesson and the next lesson, we're going to develop an Echo server and an Echo client to demonstrate network programming using TCP/IP in Java. The Echo server will accept incoming messages, and the Echo client will allow us to send messages to the Echo server. So let's get started developing the server. We're going to call our program echoserver.java, interestingly enough. So we begin by doing our imports first, as always. So we import java.net.star and java.io.star. Our main program has to throw an I/O exception. First thing we do is set up a server socket, which we're going to call server sock. We put it in the global area because we're going to use it in 2 tries. Here's the first try. The first thing we do is we try to instantiate it by setting up a server socket on port 10,007, which is just a nice random port to use. And of course, our client will also be sending messages to that port. Then we have a catch. So if we can't make a connection, then we'll print out a message that says we can't do it. And then we'll exit the program since there's nothing else to do. Otherwise, we set up a client socket. First, we declare it and instantiate it to null. Then print out a message that says we're listening for a connection. In other words, we're waiting for a client to connect to our server. The code that does that is the accept method of our server socket object. And that will be the return value that's assigned to the client socket. And again, we put that in a try catch so that if we are not able to connect successfully, we'll write a message that says accept failed and exit out of the program. Otherwise, we'll write a message that says connection successful. Then we'll write out another message saying we're listening for input. In other words, we're waiting for the client program to send us some output. If we get that output, we're going to have an output object to accept it. Come down over here and write the rest of our parameters. And we also need to create a buffered reader object. We're going to have to come down to the next line to finish that. I'm going to indent right off here. And that should do it. Then we need a variable to store our input. We'll need 2 parentheses right here, so let me fix that. We'll print a little heading to say what's coming in from the server. And display our input line. And we're going to check to see if we want to terminate the program. And so we're going to break out of the while loop. And then finally close all of our connections. Close the while loop. Close main, then close the class. So let's save our program. Can't really run it because there's nothing to connect to it, but we can at least compile it. Compiles just fine. We can run it, but nothing will happen because we don't have a client trying to access it. So we'll just Control-C to break right here. And we'll move to the next lesson where we're going to write the Echo client that we can then connect to this server.